Welcome, everybody, to Viva Alive. And today's conversation is about building the future. And I'm here with my dear friend and colleague, Daniela Limas. I'm Dr. Terry Hope. Let's go play. What do you know about futures, Daniela?
Hello, hi everybody. Yeah,
Can you hear? Are you there?
I can listen to you.
What do you know
Yeah,
about
but I can
futures?
listen to you. Okay, I'm here. Future. Sorry, guys, my internet's got it's gonna work today. Okay, let's spend. When we, we talk about something, to me, beauty is consciously taking part in what we're creating for our lives. So the future is not just a date that we arrive. I think it's being built by our uh, decisions, the possibilities to perceive, and also by our capacity to change directions. Yeah, sorry, there's a lot of noise here.
That's okay. We'll do our very best to make this awesome, including in the recording. We'll find ways. That's how you can do magic. That's how you create a future, is actually by doing a little magic. We just
Yeah.
don't even realize that we do. Yeah, and building a future, I was thinking about this morning, not because of this podcast, but just that we have the opportunity as individuals to not only create possibilities for ourselves, build a future and create a future that works in the way we would like it to. But we can also change that for other people. Why would we bother? I don't know, because we can. And it's interesting because this morning I went and I was thinking about how do you impact for people? And I've had this many times in my life where I looked at, okay, if I would like the people around me to start my life to be different, how can I be with other people so it creates the experience that I would like to? So years ago, I remember thinking I would love to go live in a small town so everybody is nice and they are personable, and that's what I'd like to do. And I went, well, I'm not willing to wait that long. I'm going to start doing that now. So I started engaging with everybody around me. The guy that you give the parking ticket to, that you pay for your parking. So at that time I was living in Toronto. People do not interact. In fact, if they interact, it's not very fun. It's usually not where you want to go. So I started doing this, like, hey, how are you? And here's my parking ticket. How's your day going? And creating the environment that I would like to have. And it's interesting because then you start to create something that's completely different, not by asking other people to change, but making your life the way you would like it to be. And I did that this morning in the swimming pool. So I went swimming, and
Wow.
there were too many people in the slow lane. So I decided I would go in the medium lane, the medium speed lane. So I swam a bunch, and this guy, because people in Toronto are very mean and aggressive. So this guy said to me, lady, you need to be in the slow lane. That I was like, whoa. I said, wow, wow. But I said there were so many people in the slow lane, I came over here, but I think you need to be in the fast lane because actually you are really fast. And he was a fast swimmer. But it was interesting because but he was so aggressive with me. I was like, don't you,
Wow.
like, it's 6:30 in the morning. Okay, 6:30. I'm not ready for this. So I went over to the slow lane and I sent him contributions. I went, this is not the reality I would like to create. But I did tell him that he was a very fast swimmer. And he told me he had been there swimming in that same lane for years. So he knows what medium speed is. like, I was like, so as I'm swimming along, now in the slow lane, I sensed this sadness, like this deep sadness. I was like, wow, is it because I'm really that wrong that I was swimming in the wrong lane? And then I recognized it was the guy who was aggressive with me because no one had ever acknowledged that he was a fast swimmer. And I went, what? What? That interaction was so interesting, but I was like acknowledging him for being great, and no one had ever acknowledged him for being great. And what I recognized was that whatever that interaction was changed his life. It didn't exactly start out. It didn't exactly start out that way. But when we think about building a future, what is the future of the world that you would like to see? What is the future of your life that you would like to have? And you don't have to wait for it. You could just start it now.
You don't have to wait. Yes.
Right? Like I could have gone into a spiral about how the guy was so mean to me. So mean to me. But I didn't. I just went, there's something different here that we can be. Right,
Yeah.
Daniela?
Yeah, you said something interesting because we tend to imagine the future as a something distant.
Mm-hmm.
But the future is being fed by what we do, like a behavior repeatedly in the present.
Yeah.
And what we repeat tends to turn open space for possibilities. So that's why small choices can seem irrelevant today sometimes, but
Yeah.
produce important consequences over time. So the same way with small changes can be to alter in the entire trajectory.
Well, it's interesting because when you think about past, present, and future, there's no time actually doesn't exist. It's a weird thing because we all live on time. Like, when's my appointment? What time is it? But if you were to look at your life, what you have now is present.
Yeah.
And all the philosophers say, be present, live in the present. Well, the present and the present is all you have. And that's true. And then the past and the future actually are kind of intertwined. The only way I can put it. They coexist. When we make a choice now in our lives, it alters our past because they're intertwined, and it alters our future because they're intertwined. Like the trajectory, let's say, of what we're creating. So when we want to build a future, as you put it, build a future, create a future, that is where we would like to be. When we make choices today, it creates this place in the future that is what we're asking it to be. So to your point, it's like we think that it's just in the distant, way off in the distance. I go, no, how about now?
Yeah. Yeah. Sometimes I think what I need to build a future I want to
Yeah.
build some clarity. Yeah, because many people know exactly what they don't want for
Oh,
the future.
oh yeah.
But we can ask, what would you like to build? So, yeah, in this point, build a future requires to ability to move beyond the simple avoiding problems, for example, and start
Mm-hmm.
to identify possibilities.
Mm-hmm.
And the questions for me is how would I like my life to look a year from now, for example, or 5 years from now?
Mm-hmm.
So this begin to turn an idea of the future into direction.
Mm-hmm. And And I'm wondering how we can take that one, you know me, I'm always about possibilities because we can have
Yeah,
things start to show up now that we thought could only be something we had to have in 5 years, right? So we're used to going long term. You're a financial person, an economist, and so they're used to doing projected financial planning
yeah,
based on how that would normally be in that world. However, if we make a choice now, I'm really going to play with people today. If we make a choice now and say, that's it, I am, let's take money. Like, money is a great one because that's
yeah,
easy, right? That's easy. It's like, okay, so I am actually going to have it so that the amount of money that I require to have more fun in life or to buy the house I would like or whatever, and ask a question like, what is it going to take to create that? We don't have to have a long term kind of plan thing because that's how this world works. But that's a lot of struggle. And it's not really creation, it's work, right? But if you said, you know, I'm I'm having $1 billion. What is it going to take to create that? What if it's not? It's not. It doesn't have to. We could go. Oh, it requires me to add like three more revenue streams. Let's say, but at least it puts something there that you can perceive as a direction you'd like to go. And I think that that's the first. To your point, Daniela, the first thing you have to kind of get a sense of where you would like to go.
yeah, exactly. And yeah,
So, when you think about, let's talk about the money thing a little bit, because I think that it's common for people to be asking for more money to show up in their lives or more, they would like to do more things, and then they use idea, the concept that they don't have enough money.
yeah, that's a good point. Like your example, I think for the future also requires a space for that, like a lot of money. You have to open a space in your life now. Yeah, I think it's an important point. Sometimes we need to build something new uh, without open space for it in our lives, in our mind, and energy too. So if we want a different financial life, but we keep the same, doing the same behavior, doing the same thing. So sometimes creating also means letting go of the past
Yeah.
and think about possibilities, new possibilities.
Yeah, and it's really interesting. It's and it can be okay. I need to let go of this because it's not working for me anymore. It can be a thought process or an awareness of like where you're placing your attention. And then the other thing, it's funny because I do a lot of work with executives and talking about how to perceive the the place where they would like to go. And what I noticed and what people are telling me that I work with is that there's this thing, it's like they go, okay, I now know this is what I'm asking for. Like, let's say it's $1 billion. And what will it take to create that? And then
Yeah.
all of the things that are keeping them from being able to create that $1 billion, let's say, become not important anymore. And the trajectory, how they perceive life, kind of moves to a place that's more in tune with the, let's say, $1 billion. I'm using that as an example. So when we ask questions like, what would it take to, what is required to create that, then you start to get the sense when you start to entertain that question what it is
Hmm.
that's required. So it's not even about, like, it can be letting go of things, but I think it actually just occurs because now you're focused on the thing, and all the things that aren't important tend to slip away, you know? Like, and sometimes we don't even know how that shows up. Like, I went, I'm
Hmm.
having $1 billion, so I started swimming again. But we don't know what that actually creates. We don't know how the things that we choose. Let's say, by example, would you make more, would, if we're talking about creating your future, and if you, money is one of the things that you would love to invite in because it's fun, just because it's fun. And then one of the elements for creating the future that you would like has to do with honoring you. Every part of you, including your body. So if you're honoring you more, would you create a different future? Would you build, as your point is, build a different future? Would it,
Wow.
you know? And these are like the small things that nobody ever looks at. They go, I need to do the work and I have to work hard, and maybe sometime in the future, sometime in the future.
Exactly. Yeah.
So what if it's not building blocks? What if it isn't building blocks? What if it's like starting to ask questions about how to bring, be it now? So if I would, if I would like in my life to have $1 billion to change the world with, I would have to function now as from the place of I have $1 billion and I am $1 billion and I know, like, all of those things. Not in the future. So we could do it now. So why don't we ask some questions, Daniela? Would that be fun?
Yeah. Yeah. That's a very good topic. Questions. But when I see what I see that sometimes when you want to build something like a future, like one with $1 billion, we start to be stressed because that. Yes, we are so worried, and and we when we are under prolonged stress, our perception tends to narrow, right?
Yeah.
And and become more focused
Well, what if life was a game?
on or the problems. Create a future.
Sorry, you
Yeah,
cut out. I apologize.
no, that's okay.
So we start to say this again so that we can make sure everybody can hear it since your internet cut out. So we get
Yeah,
stressed because, if there's
yeah,
a because,
yeah, because we are so worried to get this choice that we imagine, so we become stressed And
Okay.
this stress is not to help to create this future. So we need space for that, right?
Well, and it can be done differently. And I think that that is, this podcast is about living and being alive, and stress is not included. Not included. So we're just using the $1 billion as an example. But it could be a house, it could be I'm writing a book right now, so it has all those kinds of pieces in it. But what if it was like for the fun of it? Like, what if the thing that we're asking for our lives to be is not in the future, and the creation of it could be the fun of it? Because if it was more fun, do you think it would be a more adventure? So I'm going to ask you, Daniela, what, and this is a question I would ask for anybody, but I'm going to ask you. So, what future are you asking for that you, haven't yet acknowledged?
Yeah, the future that I don't know yet that gonna bring to me something that is more than material things, but is more for possibilities and well-being and new creation and money too.
Sure, why not add some?
And but space to live more. Yeah. To be light, no stress, because here in Brazil now there is a pandemic, stress pandemic. Everybody's so stressed.
Stress
So
pandemic.
yes, stress pandemic, right?
Okay, so how, and this is like the perfect intersection because you and I are doing an access bars class. Was not intended, but you and I are doing an access bars class at the end of October. And it's one of the greatest ways people can eliminate stress, long term stress, and have better coherence with their lives and have more fun. And it can happen quickly. And that was the thing that actually turned me around from, as a neuroscientist, from doing neurofeedback, was when I discovered access bars. Because it took 20 minutes for me to go, oh, I'm having a good day, to, oh my gosh, I am so happy. Which is the thing that most people are asking for. And then it's kind of funny because when you're like happy and doing everything from possibilities, which is like creation and action, life becomes easier. And no stress. And more fun. I don't know. And then everything becomes easier. So the stress, I know that the stress pandemic, epidemic, stress, whatever,
Yeah.
whatever you want to call that, that's in Brazil, it's a possibility for people not to be stressed anymore. And that, to me, is remarkable. We don't have to do what people have done for a long time. We don't have to repeat it. We can, but why would you? Like, why would you keep repeating doing stuff that doesn't work for you?
Yeah, that's a very good example for access bars, I mean, session,
Yeah.
because not every process of building starts by doing more, but sometimes we start to reduce the noise, in our mind, in our body. So pausing or having access bar sessions, for me, reduce excess stimulation, and we can spend more capacity to perceive things, possibilities.
Yeah. And create a future and living the way we would like to have it, not
Yeah.
the way we're used to having it. And that's the thing that's important. It's like, really, even if any of us ask ourselves, like, is what my life is today, is it totally working for me? Could I could I have it differently so that I could start enjoying life more? Because that's kind of why we're here. The enjoyment part. Someone early in the 1900s pulled that page out of the book. Like, you can probably see the jagged lines where someone says, you have to have fun while you're busy on the planet, being here living. So people skip the page. We'll just put the page back in, okay? And then when we're thinking about how we would like to live, how would that be? How can that be? No muss, no fuss. Let's have fun and make
Yeah.
life easier.
Yeah. Perhaps the future we want doesn't require us to know all the answers.
No.
Begins when we have enough awareness to ask different questions. And
Yeah. And, it just made me think about if we do it from not having the answers, we do it as an exploration, we'll call it, then we might have our 1 week we're going to say, hey, this is where I'm going. And then we create a whole bunch of things and we, get new perspective. And then the and we ask for more possibilities to show up. We have no idea what a possibility looks like. It's an unknown concept. And then we have an awareness of so much more being available. So the things that we would have chosen 2 weeks before are too small a playing field. So if we, were to look at, like, okay, it's the adventure. What is it that we would like? And start. And then ask questions that will start to generate and create what you're looking for, what you're asking for. So, what's your magic question today, Daniela?
my magic question. If your past couldn't determine your future, what would you choose to create now?
Whoa. Whoa, that's a good one. So, if your past didn't determine your future, okay, that's really good. Let me think of one. If you had no limitations, no reasons and justifications, and no limitations, what what would you like your life to be like? Oops, did I open up
Oops.
the box?
Yeah.
So, thank you everybody for joining us. We'll see you
Thank
next
you.
week. And come and see us in Rio. We're going to have a great time.
Yes. Yes.
Bye, everybody.
See you. Bye bye.
Bye.